Louie, I got to ask you about the TV show. Where are we at? The first season was a huge hit.
Yeah, I did really great. I mean, only 14 people watch those things, but
man,
but it was well liked by all 14.
Everybody. That was one of those.
You did numbers, didn't you?
Yeah, we did well for cable. Yeah, we did great.
FX is a perfect place for you.
It's great. I wouldn't want more people to have access to the show, honestly. I really wouldn't.
People start bitching.
Yeah, like we're doing a second season, and we're moving to 10:30 from 11, just inching back a half an hour. At first they said let's go to 10. That's what they're going to. 10 is technically kind of primetime television.
Yeah.
So they're going to move it to 10. And because the numbers for the show are strong enough to move it to 10. That's what they told me. To then grow it. And then they said, we're doing 10:30. I'm like, what happened to 10? They said, well, no, we can't. Your show can't. They said, believe me, you're better off just stay.
Well, you don't want them fucking with it. You don't want them moving it to 10 and then going, all right, well, you can't do this, you can't do that.
That's exactly right.
Freedom, dude.
I'm exactly, if I was on any other network, at any other time period, I would not be able to do this show the way it is because the advertisers wouldn't buy it. He showed the guy at the network showed it to advertisers that buy 10 p.m. time, which is far more expensive than 10:30 time.
Fuck.
And they were like, "We're not. What are you crazy?
You insane?
When's the second season hit? It's going to be a while.
Guy fucks a hole in a wall and then talks about Jesus.
Puts his penis in the hole.
Yeah, we're not.
That dentist scene that you did was.
Wow. Thanks.
That was hysterical. Gervais
the
was
inferred mouth fuck.
Yeah.
I woke up from the dentist once and thought I feel like he fucked my mouth.
Right.
fucked my mouth.
I assumed it was based on something, Lo.
No, that whole thing is true. It is, that dentist thing. I took nitrous and lots of drugs, and I went in my mind to the desert.
Wow.
Met Bin Laden and talked him out of terrorism.
Talked him out of
I
it,
seriously had that experience so viscerally that when I came out of it and out of the nitrous, I was like, that's the realest hallucination or dream I've ever had.
That really happened.
Yeah.
Damn.
Exactly.
Ricky Gervais was great on it too.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And your reaction to him when he would just
stuck his
with
finger
you.
in my ass. And, he's great.
And then he would get you again, and you'd get mad at him.
Yes.
It's fucking brilliant.
It was a fun
When's
thing
the second
to do.
season going to hit? It's a few more months.
June.
I'm sure.
I start shooting in a couple of weeks.
Great.
I already shot the stand-up for it. I did some stand-up. I did a show in Atlanta, and we shot the stand-up.
Oh, you're changing the venue.
Yeah, I also did the Comedy Cellar.
Right.
But I like I do more concerts now than I do.
Right.
That I did then. So I just wanted to use
right on.
So
man.
Sometimes you'll see me in a concert, and I'll probably also shoot at Caroline's again. And
how's the personal life? How's the daughters? Everything
they're
good there?
great. My kids are great.
Yeah.
My daughter's the oldest one is in 3rd grade, and the other one's in kindergarten. They go to the same school now, which is a massive savings of time.
Oh,
I used to walk them
walking
to
them
2
to
different
school,
schools.
yeah.
Pick them up at 2 different schools.
Are you going to reflect?
Now it's a one-stop drop.
Are you going to reflect that in your TV show, or like how accurate is the daughters
TV
and
show
you
is very
on the
different.
show, or like are they going to grow up on the show, or are you going to have to replace them? Are you going to age them rapidly like a soap opera?
Well, the girls on my show are totally different than the girls, my kids.
Yeah,
they are only represented in age. But my kids are nothing like those girls. They're really fictional. I mean, most of my family.
I never thought that they were an accurate depiction of your kids, even though I don't know your kids. But is the way you're reacting to them, that seems to be like you.
No, that is definitely different too.
That's
my daughters and I have.
Do you beat your children? Is that what you're not showing on the show?
My daughters and I have a very real and close relationship, a very warm relationship, and we're just great friends. They're my favorite people, my daughters, and we get along great. And I used to get frustrated when I was younger. At having kids, just getting through a day with kids used to be a chore.
From your act, we would never have known that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I definitely distilled and purified that frustration for the sake of entertainment. I've had all through being a dad incredible moments and times in my life that are completely unfunny, so those are kept out of there. Yeah, no one wants to see that. No one ever will.
No way to make it funny.
No
nothing.
way.
Just
no. Like I did a bit during this last tour I did about sleeping, and my daughters waking me up in the morning, like at 6 o'clock every morning, and I don't need to get up to like 7:30 to get them to school, but they get me up at 6. because they're awake and they want to share the day with me, you know?
Yeah.
So I did this bit about how good sleep feels at 6 a.m. Like how much I don't want to wake up because I feel like I'm, you know, fathoms deep in a river of chocolate, and sleep is like an ancient whore who's sucking me off slowly and speaking in a dead language. You know, this whole thing I do about how much I don't want to wake up, and then I wake up and I'm miserable. When I conceived that bit, the second part to it was the truth, which is as much as I hate getting upright at 6 a.m., once I'm feeding my kids breakfast and we're chatting, I'm so happy to get up.
Yeah.
Because when I'm on the road or when my kids aren't with me, I always sleep till like noon or 1 o'clock, and I wake up, I feel like a piece of shit, and most of the day is gone. But I get up at 6 o'clock, and even though the transition is difficult, standing there and feeding them, I feed them a full breakfast every morning. I make them bacon and eggs and stuff, and I stand there watching them eat it, and we chat, and it's such a real life to me. That's real. When I started it on stage, I'd tell the part about sleeping and about not wanting to wake up, and then I'd get to that part, and the laughter would just completely stop. I had no way to make that funny. So I stopped doing it. Oh, you're a
good dad. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So I just dropped that part off.
Where does the Louie from the TV show?
Well, that guy, I mean, I like on the show to be just to make mistakes I never would, and to be more reactive and have less control over myself. It's just funnier.
You're in a weird situation with this, and I think it's a good person to compare it to. Seinfeld, I think, went through the same thing. A lot of people assume that's Seinfeld because he's Jerry Seinfeld on the show, that's Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah. And that is not Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, no, he's not
on the show.
No.
So when you watch your show, you're Louie, you're the stand-up, you're doing what you do.
Yeah.
So a lot of people assume that's an accurate depiction of you head to toe. That's you.
Yeah, no, I definitely am different than that guy.
And where does that come from? Like, just you make up a guy and kind of.
I mean, it's me, but I don't do the things I would do usually. Some of it is playing out fantasies, like saying things out loud to people that are bothering me that I never would say.
My dumb questions are just, I'm amazed at people's creativity. I can't fathom being able to make shit up like that.
You're like a little boy, though. But are the cameras really there, or do you bring them?
Wow!
But
I am an ass.
The kids on the show are actually two different girls played my youngest daughter last season.
Dick Sargent and Dick York.
That's right.
I almost fucked that up.
And it wasn't far from that. They were very close. We had a girl playing when I started doing the show. FX wanted to make my talent deals for me because they have these packages they give actors, you know. Really? And I said I don't want to do that because I don't want you to know who I'm hiring. And
keep everything on the QT.
I want to do it myself.
Yeah.
You know, our little company hires our actors directly, and also I don't want to give people series deals because I don't want to be forced to put them on the show.
Yeah,
I don't like having to say, oh, what are we going to have to make up for this guy this time? So the girls, you know, I hired two actresses to play my daughters, and the guy who runs FX said to me, yeah, but what if one of them gets another job? And I said, well, fuck her then. I'll get another one. I don't care.
No one cares.
No one gives a shit. It doesn't matter who's playing them. It really doesn't. And
you're fucking brilliant.
No, so one of the girl who played my youngest daughter, she got a pilot on ABC. It wasn't even a show that went to, I knew it wouldn't go to the series because no pilots really ever do. But I said, let her go. We'll get another one. And then maybe if she comes back next year, you know. So she left, and then we got another one and started using her. And then the thing came up, well, this is what FX warned me of. Do I tell them that I replaced my daughter? And I decided, no, because they don't see the show until it's complete. They don't read scripts. They don't see footage.
Oh, shit, okay.
So I figured they'll see an episode with the new kid, and then I'll get a phone call and I'll deal with it then.
They'll assume they've lost the part.
Yeah, so I put it on, I sent it to them. The first episode with the new girl, they didn't say anything.
They didn't notice?
They never noticed. And then one of the last episodes, actually, both girls, because I matched two stories that weren't originally supposed to be. One girl plays my daughter in the first half of the episode,
really
and another girl plays her in the second half. And
no one noticed.
No one said anything. And I finally talked to the FX guy, and I said, "Did you know
did you
that I've
notice?
got two girls?" And he was like, "No." And none of these fucking commenty, complainy cunts on the internet have ever picked up on it. Nobody, because who gives a shit?
It doesn't matter.
Do you know how hard it is to get creative control like that? Like that's like a fucking Kubrick or Spielberg type of thing. Nobody has 100%. Yeah. That's amazing, dude.
Well, and it's from being on the other side of the spectrum from those guys that we drove the show down to be so cheap that it's not like
they were just
Spielberg
happy.
owns the world so he can do what he wants, but me, no one cares what I'm doing because my show can be paid for by advertisers that literally don't know what the show's about.
That's perfect.
If the show was a little more expensive or on a little bit earlier, then, I don't know who, Nescafe or,
Nescafe.
General Mills would say,
Procter and Gamble.
Yes, but right now, fucking some lawyer from New Jersey is paying for my show.
Changed out the fucking daughters and no one knew.
No, and also, I don't have that control contractually. I don't have a deal that says I can do what I want. The deal that I have that I signed says that FX has full control over the show and that they have to approve every decision that I make.
But whether they do that or not is another
in
thing.
practice, they've never done it, but I earn that with every show. If I turn in 2 shitty episodes, I'll start having an executive on the set, and I'll have to turn in
fingers in there.
But how great is that they fucking allow that? That's like you're giving them a great product, and they're not fucking with it. That's so nice.
Well,
the
way I got it was that I was willing not to do the show any other way. I was willing to say no. You have to really be willing to say no to stuff. If you really want the gig and you feel like you can't live without it, then you'll give away everything.
And it's so rough
they
when
would be
close.
like, well, we want to read scripts. And I go, no, I'm not interested in doing it that way. We established it with the pilot. I said, this is the only way I'll do it. You give me the money, I'll make a show. Well, we'd like to find out who's in it. Not interested in telling you that. Really? Yeah, no, and if you want to know who's in the show, then I'd rather not do it. Like, I said that a few times through the process.
And meant it.
Yes, I did, and I meant it. Well, we'd like to visit your set. I don't want you here. But I totally understand why you would want to come here because you're paying for the show. But I'd rather we just call it off. Wow. And I just kept saying that, and they were so cool. And the guy who runs FX, John Landgraf, is a genius. And he said he kept everybody off of me, and it worked. I gave them a show they liked. If I'd given them a show that needed work, they would have been like, yes, we'll give you a green light, but you need more supervision. But they're like, you keep doing it that way. But he's the one who got me to do it without signing that. He said, look, I can't. There's no deal that exists that covers this.
Hitler, a love story you could have come up with.
You could have done anything.
I could have done anything, but since I turned in something that was basically funny and competent and didn't look crazy, okay, let's keep doing it as long as it works. But episode by episode, I have to earn that. Mm-hmm. So each episode they've liked, and they just keep saying, all right, it's good. They don't ever give me notes or anything. They just let me
stay hands off.
It's the best job I ever had. Well, and that gives me freedom not only to do what I want and be edgy, it also, I don't have a good work ethic. Like, I can't complete things, and I don't have a consistent focus.
Wow.
So I can do things like write half a sketch on the show or half a story, and I can't get around to finishing it. But I go ahead and produce it anyway. I send it get them to cast the parts, and I start shooting it without an ending.
It totally comes across. You totally come across to me as a guy that is the finish it guy.
Well, it takes me a long time to finish
eventually,
stuff.
But I mean, like, to me, I really thought you were the kind of guy that, like, because from a lot of the short things I've seen you do online and things like that, it's like I have an idea and I'm actually going to do it. And you do it.
Some of them are like that. Some things that I've done, I know that I have an idea, and 5 minutes later, I actually know how it's going to be shot and finished and everything.
So you actually won't finish it. Sometimes you'll have you'll know where you want to start and kind of where you might want to end up, and then just know it's going to work out.
Yeah, and I'll just shoot a scene that I know is funny, and then I'll figure I'll find a place for it. It doesn't have a context yet.
Well, you got the confidence that you're going to get there.
Well, like in the episode on the show that's about religion, it starts with this thing of me going into a public restroom and there's a glory hole. And I didn't have a plan for that scene. I just liked the idea of this glory hole thing. And I started shooting it. We shot it, and it was totally different. And then We shot it, and I didn't like it, actually. And in the actual original version, the dude sticks his penis in this glory hole, and he has this religious orgasm that I watched happen. And that was the original thing. And I watched it, and it was gross. It was creepy and weird and unfunny. And so I shelved it. I said, fuck this thing. I forgot. I mean, I have the ability to shoot something and then no one ever sees it. So I figured I'm going to bury this. It'll never be on television. But then we started shooting the religion episode and it hit me. This would be I could take just the beginning of that bit and have it just be a discussion starter.
Yeah.
For
a little intro kind of.
Yeah. So some stuff I shoot without knowing how I'm going to use it.
That's cool.
And there's been stuff that you shot that you probably haven't used, right? That
yeah. There's whole bits that Nick DiPaolo, who's on the show a lot as himself. I originally put him in a suit and tie and had him play almost like a Catskills, like he did kind of a character, and he wore a suit and tie I just like they had this weird idea that there's an old timey Dean Martin kind of comedian in the midst of these.
What the fuck?
And I have one whole thing that I shot with him in that character. That never will be on the show, but it's on the DVD. It's on the DVD.
Put it on a nightmare scene for Nick.
Yeah.
Nick has a nightmare that's who he is.
I was gonna say DVD would.
No, and also because I don't make serious deals with people, and because nobody cares who's on the show, I can Bob Kelly. I hope he's. I mean, I should probably call him after to tell him this.
No.
But Robert Kelly, who played my brother on the show, I didn't have any plans to have a brother on the show. It's just I wrote one scene for him, and he really nailed it. And he had that really pathetic quality to that Bob has. That you just want to punch him and hug him.
Oh, the diner scene's fucking fantastic.
And so he was so good in that, and that I gave him a few more episodes. This season, I might not have him on.
You're basically saying you don't have a brother anymore.
I don't have a brother, because I don't have a brother in real life.
Happy days.
Yeah.
Hey, fat Chuck, how does that feel?
Can we call Bobby right now and tell him?
No.
You're Chuck.
No, I don't want to hurt him. He might.
He's tremendous. Bobby's great.
Everything I'm writing
for you.
I'm writing season 2. I'm writing season 2 right now, and I haven't written a bit for him, and I introduced a sister into the show because I have actually 3 sisters. So I have
Bobby with a wig,
a sister character. So he may not be on. But then the other day I came up with a bit. I thought that actually might be good for him. But he also might come back as a different character. I don't know.
Say that if he's
I'm serious.
Great.
You should have him come back as 2 people at once because he's put weight on just to humiliate him.
Exactly.
When he's in the car, though, it is such perfect Bobby when he's just like, hey, dude.
Hey, dude. No, Jim is in one scene last year. And probably I'll use him as a totally different guy. He's in as himself with a fucking necklace over his T-shirt like an asshole.
Did I have a necklace on?
Necklace over the T-shirt.
That was probably, I think, was that the table? That was my Lucky Louie thing that Pam gave me.
Oh, that's right.
That's the only reason I never wear jewelry. I hate jewelry.
Right. That poker scene was some great writing.
But I do characters too, so if you need a character like a French guy or whatever.
You have one of those composite.
Try one out?
Louie, I will be happy to be on. Fucking good, man.
You know what would be great?
French.
Would be to actually have him on as a French guy and say that he's a French guy and have him do that. To have it be like a French, like a bakery I go into, and he goes, "Oh, it's so nice to see you, Louis." Do the guy like, "Hey, good morning.
I am so happy you came to my bakery."
Can I get? How are the croissants this morning?
They are delicious and hot, just the way you like them.
All of a sudden, you're German.
But there was a whole World War II thing with my family. I'm writing backstory.
He's Alsatian. He's Alsatian French.
Vichy.
I could almost totally see doing that.
Why not?
Just have him play this broad and don't just have it be this
no
character.
Explanation, nothing.
And maybe we have one of those, like it's a character, we have one of those, it's been a tough day with the kids. You know, fatherhood is tough, right, Francois?
Oh, yes, it is tough to raise them properly. You have to let them go. Fucking good, man.
He's got wisdom. He's got a little wisdom.
Yeah, a lot of wisdom.
You close your eyes, you can see the beret.
Yeah. If I turned that show on and saw that, I'd shit my pants. I would shit my pants.
I'll just do really hacky French jokes. Well, if your children, you should surrender.
And just an aside, you can see him just walking down the street and just say hello to him, and he's got the paper bag with a baguette sticking out of it, and some celery and a beret on.
But I'll have to make sure the audience knows. Like, you'll say something, I'm glad you came in because I am French.
That's right. See, I love the idea of doing this because, like, Ricky Gervais's character didn't fit the rest of the season at all because I didn't do any other cartoonly stupid characters like that. I did one. And there's people that complained about it, like, this doesn't fit. And I'm like, what? Fuck you. I mean, one thing I love to do on my show is that even the people that are the biggest fans of the show have things that make them upset about it. That makes me happy.
I never
like
even
in the pilot when the girl
fit.
Gets in the helicopter and flies away. A lot of people are like, that's where it really, it did really. So fuck you. I wanted to do it. That's my show.
Right.
If you don't like it, stop watching. If there's enough of you guys, I'll get fired.
That's what we say.
I don't give a
time.
shit. So it would be great if next season is really down to earth and real and really, just believable and credible, but there's this one sore thumb piece of shit. Not even played by a guy who knows how to do it. Like, it would be bad enough to get a stereotypical French guy who actually is, trained, but this guy doesn't even have any handle on the accent. And you got it's not what he's known for, to use Jimmy that way.
But you got to go all in and have him in every episode just to really hammer the awfulness home.
Oh, that would be horrid.
Every fucking episode.
That would be great. It's like, what's his name? Will Ferrell told me that he used to have in his head these couple watching SNL. He would imagine, and he would do moments that he used to call holy moly moments, where the husband of the couple, he would do things on SNL that he pictured the guy going, holy moly. Like, Jesus.
What the hell is he doing?
That's what this is going to be.
That's a holy moly.
I think we're probably doing it too, so, Jim.
Jim, get ready.
I've been working on my French accent for since about 8:48.
You got to do it now.
Obnoxious thing.
By the way, was that the pilot also that Chelsea was in?
Chelsea's the one who got in a helicopter and flew away.
When you open the door and pin her behind the door, that is one of the best awkward scenes ever.
Horrible. The thing that was amazing about that to me was that I wrote that, and then they went and... I wrote it in the script. It wasn't something that we just sort of found.
Right.
I said the door is too close to the stairs, and when he opens the door, there's nowhere for her to go but behind it. And so he holds it open, pinning her. I wrote that, and they had to go find the
because now logistically you got to find a door that
they had to scour
like
the East Village and find a building that was willing to let us shoot there. That would have that
situation.
Yeah, without it looking like we forced it.
I do hate the awkward double door, try to hold the door for the girl thing. Because now she's in, and some girls know how to actually kind of stop there and wait.
Right.
And you could open it, but then most of them lunge for it and open, and now she's opening the door for you. And then you got to make the whole tit for tat joke. Like,
then you did it for me, which is funny.
Now we're even.
Now we're laughing at unfunny moments.
Exactly.
You held it for me.
Door.
I can't wait for this to be over.
Can't wait to fuck your ass and throw you out my window. Fucking moderately amusing cunt.
Moderately amusing cunt. That's some comedian should have that as a special. So Whitney Cummings' next special. Sorry, just picked one out of the hat.
I know, you just picked a woman. Fair enough.
Why not?
Pick the woman out of the hat. That's what I always do.
Hey, Louie, the open to the show, a guy flips off the fucking camera.
Yeah.
And there's some discussion about that, if you set that up or if that was real.
Oh, no, that was... If I had set it up, that would have been a shitty...
way to do it.
Yeah, but no, when we shot that, the last night of the pilot shooting, we shot the stand-up at the Comedy Cellar, and we were figuring out as we were going along how to do that, and I got a Steadicam operator to stand on stage with me at the Cellar. That's how we shot that, and so you get that first-person feeling.
Right.
It's the same way I shot the stand-up on Hilarious on the special that's out. at 10 o'clock Sunday on Comedy Central, and then later on DVD.
And you do
and Netflix.
You do acknowledge the camera at one point.
Yeah, during the hilarious special.
Right,
yeah, because he got too close.
Yeah.
And I could hear the guy's cans. I could hear the tech director talking to the camera person.
Okay, go to 3. We're going to pack us in. And you're trying to fucking do...
I actually hear her telling him what he's doing. Go a little closer. You can get closer, Jim. You can get closer. And I'm talking to a fucking audience of 2,000 people during a set that I've been preparing for a year.
Yeah, I'm glad you left that in.
And I had to turn to him and say, you got to back off because I can hear you.
Yeah.
But we left it in because it is a strange... I think if you watch the show high, that's probably a really fucked up moment.
Because you're
just absorbed in it.
Yeah, you feel like...
And all of a sudden you go...
You know, it would have been a funny thing to say, hey, Captain Obvious, you want to back up? I mean, I can think of this stuff later.
But back to the guy who flipped off the camera.
Okay, so... Sorry. Dying, sorry. Okay, the guy... So we shot at the Comedy Cellar with a Steadicam. And then when we were done, I was standing out in the Village. It was the summer. And the Village in the summer is just so active. And I thought, maybe I should shoot a moment outside. And then it hit me. I don't have an opening sequence to the show. I don't have a way to open. And just to hand something into FX, just to give them something. I assume we'll shoot some kind of a really slick opening someday for this show. But just to have something to give them when we turn in the pilot, because they only gave us $200,000 to do the pilot, which is very low money for a pilot.
Yeah.
So we had a Steadicam guy there, which is a very expensive rig and person. And I said, why don't we just put the guy's Steadicam on with a 25 lens, doesn't matter, and I'll walk from the 3rd Street subway to the Comedy Cellar, which is my walk. That's how I get to work every night, and just walk in front of me with the camera, and we'll just shoot that. And so we're walking. We did exactly that. I came out of the subway. We only did it once, and he followed me, and then I just followed my instincts. I got to Ben's Pizza on McDougal Street and went in for a slice. That's why I always do get a couple of chomps.
Yeah.
Because usually what happens is I put my kids to sleep, and then I get a babysitter to come, and then I run to the cellar, and I haven't eaten. I fed them dinner and put them to bed. So I just need a little bit of calories in me to do a set. So I started eating the pizza, and the camera stayed there and just watched me eat pizza. And these young Asian kids with spiky hair, kind of like cool alt punky kids walk by, and they see a camera, so they think, oh, fuck you, like this kind of just, you know what I mean? Young people, contrary to anything. Fuck you, man. And the kid really did it like that. Like, you can't hear it because there's no sound, but he was stupid that he didn't, he could have just stood in front of the camera.
And
but
really
as he walked by, fuck you! Like, he did it like that. And I just watched him, and I kept a straight face. You can see me glance at him after he gives me the finger. And I thought, because I know the scope of the lens that we had on. I'm like, I know we just caught that. And I know it's out of focus. And I'm so happy that just happened. That's just so, and it was a moment that I thought, this show's going to be on TV. Like that moment, literally, when he flipped off the camera, I thought, because I was like, that's so cool that's going to be in the opening credits. And I knew this is going to be the opening credits of the show. I'm not replacing this. And I think we're going to get on the air. Like, it just made me believe. That's awesome. Because of the fun, to me, the coolness of getting this this legitimate, sincere middle finger in this New York City show.
That New York City moment.
One of the funniest things that happened on Lucky Louie to me was we were doing a scene, and there was a woman who was a bartender, and she had a shirt on, and on the shirt was like the little clear tag that had like LLL, like for large.
Oh, yeah. And you know, from the Gap.
Yeah. Forget to take those off the back of your leg.
We're rehearsing, and Louie goes to me, all I want is for that to be shot and on television.
Yeah.
I want that so bad.
Yeah. And it was, I don't think we had to take it off.
I don't know if they took it off or if they caught it, but you're like, I just don't want them to catch that. I want her to have that on television.
Oh, no. I love when imperfect things happen. And awful things. And I go, we're using that. It's easier to do on this show than Lucky Louie. There was some level of people trying to perfect stuff all the time, and that used to make me irritated.
Look how easy it is to just pull shit up.
Yeah,
I was very happy when it came on Netflix, by the way.
I love the open of this fucking show.
Yeah,
man.
this is just,
So
I was really tired. We'd been shooting all day. And
yeah, you look very natural. Like, that's how you look walking.
And actually, it backs up if you know the geography of
Yeah, you
the
walked
village.
past it already, Lou. What the fuck?
There he is.
And then you give a
Go
little
back
glance
again.
over to him. You did.
I just missed it. I looked
a little
down.
glance over, like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah,
There he is.
Right on.
Fuck you!
Fuck you!
A camera, fuck you, man!
Yeah, like
so
that means
anti-establishment,
anything.
dude.
Yeah.
The camera represents the eye of the man.
No, and this font is just what was. I use it for other shit.
Yeah.
And we kept it. I didn't. Yes, that's passed by about a block.
How much you have to pay for the song?
I'll tell you about that in a second because I couldn't afford the song.
Jeez.
Here comes the dude. And I look at him.
That's great.
And there's me looking at him going, awesome.
You just look
Thank you.
over.
Thank
I
you
just
for
look
that.
over and I'm
and
thinking,
then look back. It's
No,
like-
and that moment of me looking is me thinking, I'm got my own TV show again. I honestly felt that way. No, the song, and the song I picked off of iTunes or whatever and threw it on for the sake of the, for just to have something to hand in as a complete thing. And then John Landgraf, the guy who runs FX, when he saw it, he said, I think Louie fits into it. And also, I didn't know I was going to call it that. I just did that as a thing. And he said, I think Louie fits in. I like the opening. I like the song. He took it as the way the show's supposed to be. And then I needed to go get this song, Brother Louie, which was originally recorded by a band called Hot Chocolate. Mm-hmm. And then it was re-recorded by the Stories. And so we went after it, and our legal tiny department, and they said they would give us, there's the publishing and then there's the recording. The publishing is the actual, like the song with lyrics and the arrangement, and that costs us, we pay $5,000 an episode for that, which for us, $300,000 show, that's a lot. That's a chunk of our budget.
Wait, is that the publisher and the artist have to get the same thing? I think that was a way to prevent.
Well, some people own both separately.
Yeah.
The master recording is a different group of people because actually, we pay Hot Chocolate for the publishing, or whoever owns their publishing because they wrote it. But the Stories version is the one that we wanted.
Okay.
Because of that guy, Louie, Ian Lloyd, that singer. The Hot Chocolate version is like 8 guys going, Louie.
Yeah.
It's not as fun. So we recorded our own version of it. Reggie Watts was a comic. He did the music for the first half of the season. And then we didn't have enough to finish it with, and we did it with other people. But he arranged and recorded the music for it that we did, which is almost identical to the Stories version. I think it's a little better. It's just a little nicer. And then we did a version where Reggie sang it, and it didn't work. And we tried to think of another way to create that sound, and we couldn't. I was in the studio with Reggie at like midnight, because all the music on this series, I do it with a group of musicians. It's all original music.
Wow, Jesus.
And but when we were doing the theme song, I was like, how are we going to do this? And then I thought, well, whatever happened to the Stories? Like, whatever happened to the lead singer? So I went on the internet, and I Googled Ian Lloyd. First of all, I Googled the Stories. I don't know who the fuck he was at the time. And I found a YouTube video of him doing it on American Bandstand. And, Louie! And so I Googled his name, and Ian Lloyd is just a guy living in New York City. And he has a band. It's his son's band, but he's like sings. Jesus Christ. And so he's got a little website that he obviously hadn't updated since like 1989 or something. And there's an email on it. So it's like midnight, and I write a Hail Mary email. Hi, I'm a TV producer, and I want to hire you to do a job. Write me if you're interested. And the next morning, I wake up to an email. This is my current email.
Please help
This is my phone number. And he gave me his phone number. So I call him up, and he's the fucking greatest guy in the world. And he's just happy to still be singing.
Yeah.
And I kind of asked, sort of carefully, do you still have the pipes to do what you did on the song? He said, sure I do. And And I told him, look, here's the thing. Oh, because the song, when we went to try to get it, it was like fucking $20,000 an episode they wanted for the recording.
For the recording of it,
They wouldn't back down, and we can't afford it. So I went to Ian and I said, can we just hire you as a singer for a day? That's all I can really afford to do. I have no money for this show. And he said, well, I need you to pay me enough that I don't want to kill myself. He said, basically, I'm happy to do this for you. I just need to have some self-respect, you know. So I offered him some money, and he said, that's fine. And he showed up. It was one of my favorite experiences ever on the show because he was such a good guy. And he remembered how we recorded it. He remembered there's a couple of tracks, and he harmonized with himself, and he helped us with it. And the only thing, I had him do it exactly the way he did it in the original, and his voice is a little older, but I like it that ours is a little different. And also I asked him to say, instead of Louie, you're going to cry, the second time he says, Louie, you're going to die. I just asked him to make that one change, which he did.
Wow.
And he nailed it. So we have a version that 0 people believe is anything but the original Stories version.
Without having to pay
that money, which would be going to Ian Lloyd. Unfortunately, he probably fucked himself.
He fucked himself over.
No, and I felt bad because when I did Carnegie Hall, I had this idea to have him sing live to introduce me. And I thought that would be so cool, and he'd go crazy singing Carnegie Hall. I'm sure he didn't see that coming in his future.
Yeah.
But the people at Carnegie Hall, if you do music, they charge you like you're the fucking symphony orchestra. They get like you're the Philharmonic. So I couldn't afford it, but they printed the programs that says with special guest Ian Lloyd on my Carnegie
collector's
Hall
item.
But no, he's a great guy, and yeah.
Goddamn,
but there's been people on the internet that are
money.
like, this can't be the Stories version because it says you're going to die, and I have the Stories version. I've listened to both back to back.
They don't notice the daughter change, but they notice that fucking shit.
Yeah, that's
could you have him sing live if you had a recording, or is it just if music's being played? If you had the music taped?
Well, at that point, I wanted to have like a little combo band, and then they said that would cost a lot, and then they said, well, you could do it with playback, and then I said, well, I just don't want to do it. So you just called me out on a lie. I really just kind of backed out on hiring him. But I never told him I was going to hire him.
For comparison, we got the original.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right at the hook, the Stories version.
Yeah.
Little slower.
He's a little grittier now, a little more in his voice.
All right, and then
what made you think of this song for the show?
Yeah.
Thank you, Lou.
Danny, you got the other one?
Buddy.
What?
Oh, you want me?
No, yeah, you got the
the original from the Open.
From the Open.
Louie, your version's way better.
I think
you really
like it better.
updated it.
Let's see. Here we go.
My bad.
This opening is from the Hot Chocolate version. They open this way. The Stories version is more 70s stringy in the beginning. Yeah, there's more strings here.
Yeah.
It sounds almost like...
Sounds good.
What's the guy who did Fred is Dead? Fred is Dead.
That's what I said.
Yes, like that. Who is that guy?
Was this a popular song?
Yeah, it was a hit.
Oh, it was a big hit. Okay.
Curtis Mayfield, I think.
Curtis Mayfield. The music is a little Curtis Mayfield.
Wow.
That strings.
Wow.
Louie.
I always thought that. I thought that was the original lyric.
No.
Until right this moment.
Doesn't exist in the original.
That's fucking...
Yeah.
Your version's way better.
I love him, this crooning singer saying, you're going to die. You're going to cry.
What a great anecdote.
Yeah, usually those back scenes things are boring. That was a pretty good
that
one.
was very...
You fucked that guy over.
You totally
really fucked him over with his help.
You so fucked with his help.
Yeah.
He has horrible representation.
He would have started getting checks from ASCAP. They'd be coming every time the show is on. Netflix.
Everything
fucking DVD. Boom, boom. Instead he got a day rate.
You had such a great experience with the guy, but you fucked him over.
I owe Ian Lloyd. He's a good man. I always get emails from him when he's in town and stuff.
Put him in an episode.
He's a good man. No, I'm going to. He also wants to act, too, so I'll put him in something.
How old is he?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Black or white?
50s, white guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Scrawny, white guy.
Yeah.
With a nobody has that voice. I mean, that's a testament to what he did. That fucking 30 years later, I couldn't find anybody that could replicate that sound. There's no white guy.
That is amazing, yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
What kind of, it's not soprano or something. It's just
heroin.
Yeah.
Oh, that's him right there?
Yeah.
Hey, he looks all right. Hey, listen,
he's awesome.
Why don't we take a break?
Fishing captain.
Louie, you going to make it to the end with us, or do you got to go
Yeah,
somewhere?
I'll hang around.
Okay, good. Louie C.K., he's here to promote Hilarious, which is going to be on Comedy Central Sunday night at 10 p.m. And then it'll be available on CD and DVD Tuesday. Hilarious
Yes, it will.
is great. More
Thank
with
you.
Louie C.K. Stay there. Talking to Louie C.K. I don't know if what we were just talking about is worth talking about on the air, but I was telling Louie, when I walk around in my dumb life, so many people come up to me and tell me one of their favorite episodes of Louie's show was the one where he follows the kid home that kind of threatened him in the donut shop. And then the episode ends with Louie just kind of hanging out on the stoop with the kid's father. He follows him all the way to Staten Island. And it's not a lot of laughs in there, but people love that episode. But it also, you were saying, frustrates or pisses off people because they weren't laughing.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't get that.
Well,
Because that could have been my favorite episode.
I think it was one of my favorite ones. I mean, I don't look at stuff on TV as segregated comedy or drama.
Right.
Like most things actually that are sold as comedies don't make me laugh. Like
Right.
I haven't watched a comedy movie that's
hell
really
yeah.
made me laugh. To me,
Please, you didn't go see the Flockers movie? Come on.
Yeah, that's a movie made for you, Lou.
it's funny
That's made
'cause
for you.
Robert De Niro, his comedies are so bad, but his dramas are hilarious. To me, two of the funniest movies in history are Goodfellas and Raging Bull.
Mm-hmm.
Two hilarious movies, not sold as comedies. They're not supposed to be funny.
What was the last comedy you laughed at? Do you remember?
Fuck, I don't know. Maybe Dumb and Dumber.
Wow.
Like, that made me laugh just because of how dumb and dumber it was. Yeah, exactly. But other than that, I haven't really laughed at a lot of... sometimes I watch Family Guy on Netflix to fall asleep. Like, it's something that actually helps me fall asleep. And it makes me laugh really hard. But there's something... because it's a cartoon, I think it's just because it's the cartoons put me to sleep. Because it's one-dimensional and it has...
Sure.
A sing-songy way of it. The Family Guy has these voices that talk like, dang it, so it kind of puts me to sleep.
It's kind of funny
actually,
that you say that.
and I kind of hated it the first time I saw it because it's so jokey. But but I gave it a chance because you should
love the
when
characters.
you adjust to something you're not used to. That's what a lot of people just won't do that. They're like, this isn't what I am sure is already good. So I hate it.
This is not what I'm used to.
But if you make an adjustment, and actually if something's not what you're used to, then you might find a new thing to laugh at, which there's nothing better in life. And if Family Guy does that for me, it surprises me with a constant stream of jokes. And then I go to sleep.
You made a great point during the break when we were just chit-chatting. You said you like being surprised by things.
That's the best thing you can do.
Fuck yeah.
Is to find entertainment or humor or intrigue in a location of people's minds that they haven't found it before.
And it goes back to that poker scene you did, which Jim Norton's in, and all the guys, where you guys are just busting each other's balls.
It starts as just, and also because it was early in the season, I liked that people would be, I mean, I'm aware of the context of an episode now, from having done Lucky Louie taught me a lot as far as like just coming on TV all of a sudden.
Sure.
And what that means. So I knew people would be like, they'd start watching the poker scene thinking, okay, so we're going to once in a while see Louie and his buddies playing poker. This is an introduction. And they banter and they make gay jokes because that's just what fellas are like. And then that episode just stumbles into this fucked up territory, and then all of a sudden you're not laughing, and you're watching this guy talk about this thing, and then I make a joke in the middle of it, which is really inappropriate, and so it's wait a minute, am I supposed to be laughing at this or not?
Right.
And then it goes away, the episode isn't even about that, and we never saw that group of guys again.
I fucking hate you. I'll tell you why, because you just explained what I thought. Like, okay, the poker...
Yeah, but hate's not the way to deal with it.
No, I hate Louie. But I thought you were going to keep going back. That would be a central thing of your show. Right. Absolutely. I bought into that. Like, okay, they're going to be be doing poker every once in a while,
right?
To just kind of have a little fun and beat each
never
other
again.
up. And it never happened again. You surprised me with that.
We might in season 2 have another poker game. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
But you didn't have to go there again.
No, I didn't have to. And again,
other shows would have. Other shows would have.
Every show would have.
Well, there were some lines that were.
Every show would have done it.
Definitely.
You should have done something like we were playing cards and someone should have said liquor in the front, poker in the back, and just give you a little finger like that.
A little finger on the side.
Yeah, a little joke.
That would have been good. We'll come back and do that. No, and we didn't come back to it. And other shows would have been pressured by a network to. We love the poker,
Please
guys.
do more poker, right?
Let's hear.
Yeah, that's
what Eddie Brill has to say this week. Maybe he gets sad.
Yeah.
Oh, they would.
And not only would they do poker, but every episode, every poker scene would start with guys razzing each other and then getting serious. It would have happened over and over again.
Same exact way. Oh,
right.
God, they just know how to unfunny shit up.
There was originally a second scene to the poker thing, and we shot it and I didn't use it, which is that at the end, it was going to be kind of bookends, and at the end of the episode, I'm on stage, because I used to do the bits about the word faggot, cunt, and nigger, like that was my chunk of inappropriate words bits that I did then.
Inappropriate?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh.
A little bit. And so I do the poker thing to address the word faggot, and then you see me on stage doing my bit about nigger and the N, people saying N-word instead of nigger and that stuff. And then Hannibal Buress, who's in the poker scene, the black comedian, comes up to me and goes, "Hey man, you know, I see you banished faggot from your act, but you got nigger going strong. What's up with that?" And I'm like, well, I don't mean it that way. He's like, yeah, no, I get it, but, you know, I hear Rick say all this stuff. Do I have to now explain to you what nigger means? Is that, you know... And I'm like, geez, come on, man. And he's like, I'm just saying, if you're going to say nigger, say faggot. I mean, it's not fair. So we actually...
That's good.
We actually shot it and then didn't use it because the sound was shitty and just...
Oh, really?
Yeah, otherwise I probably would have kept it.
How great is it that the network lets you say nigger and faggot, though, is in the right context? It's just great that they don't fucking bother you.
Well, they
nice.
The standards person at FX is really smart, and she calls me whenever we, you know... That poker scene was much dirtier at one point.
Really?
And John Landgraf, the FX president, called me and said that he loved the scene and that he wanted to put it early in the run so that it would get reviewed and it would be part of what people would notice about the show. He said, but it's too dirty. He said, if you want to keep it as dirty as it is, we have to bury it like 12 episodes deep.
Wow.
Because it was so just cum, every other word, cum, suck cock up the ass, eat dicks, cum. And he said, if you can tone it down in just the amount of times you use those words, then and he said, but it's totally your choice. He said, I think it's worth it because then that episode will get, that's a weighty scene and it's worth doing. So I went through it to see if I could cut it down without hurting it. And I cut out like this part where I go, where I say, how come you have to wear shoes at the club? And Rick says, because the floor gets full of cum. And Nick DiPaolo goes, all right, we get it. And so I manufactured a cutoff where Rick goes, well, the floor gets full of, all right! And he cuts him off and doesn't let him say it.
Right.
I manufactured that in the editing, and I realized, you know what, this is actually making the scene better.
Sure.
That Nick gets nervous enough about the stuff that stops it from being said. Yeah. And I used that way of cutting it down. I didn't have to cut out as much as I thought I would. And I showed it to Landgraf, and he said, we can do that. And I'm so glad we did, because that episode partly is the reason the show got notoriety.
And that scene's gone viral for you.
Yeah, and there's this website for gay people called AfterElton.com. It's a very big gay website. And they called me up, this guy called me up and said, well, I don't understand how this scene talking about gay people came from a straight guy. He's like, and he wanted to know how a straight person ends up with this point of view. Oh, maybe I'm gay. I don't know. I haven't sucked a dick yet. But hey, if I'm a closet gay, let me find out soon. I'm almost fucking 50. Now, get it out in the open so I can start taking advantage. But how awesome would that be? All of a sudden, open your fucking horizons. At
50, you just go, fuck it.
To go, oh my God.
Why not?
There's twice as many people I can fuck.